Cool. So I have made some progress already. So I'll quickly, before we proceed, I'll introduce myself. I am Munk, and I create rappers for a living these days. I've been involved in AI applied AI development since almost an year now, and I have some open source tools uh, that I use for the development as well. So this is one of the, you can consider it as a ChatGPT alternative, with which it has connectivity to multiple LLMs like GPT-4, uh, Claude. I also added DeepSeek APIs, but it, over the past few days they have removed the possibility of querying the APIs from the browser itself. So we need to have a backend. I did not make the change, so that now if I try to use it, I think it would not work. So it has a couple of cool features, like so there's no backend to this UI currently. All the calls go directly from here to the APIs. Summarize. Let's see if the reasoning part is working from the browser. Probably not. So there are a couple. Oh, it is working. Cool. So right now it's reasoning. Let me expand the. So all of whatever is in this part is the reasoning part, and it's able to generate the output directly from here. So cool. Seems that luck is on our side. Hello AK, thanks for joining. So I was just introducing the workspace to the folks, and this is Decon. Decon is an open source tool that I started developing. I started developing as part of the one of the HasGeek competitions. Hello Sankalp, thanks for joining.
Hello.
Hello.
I was already listening to something else relating to DeepSeek. This is a very interesting model.
Yeah, this is a very interesting model, and the good thing is, like, for this session, a couple of days.
And the thing is, it's not interesting because of its technical capabilities. It's because of what people are discussing is, like, infrastructure-wise, where does it even lack the same potential it's being touted to have? And obviously, finance capitalists are getting interested about the potential that such innovations can provide.
Yeah. It's like it's both technically as well as politically, as well as like in AI milestone. It's interesting in multiple ways. It was quite cheap to train, and it's also quite cheap to operate it. Like, instead of the 670 parameters, only 37 million 670 million parameters, only 37 million parameters get a billion. 37 billion parameters get activated, giving a result with a lot less resources than what was required earlier. So the good thing is that, so in Decon I integrated reasoner, but last couple of days it was not working. But now today, luck is on our side, and it seems to be working. So I whatever code I have, I asked it to summarize, and I love to see it think, and because it thinks and it has that monologue, it creates a lot more precise response than what I find with Claude. Like, often when I'm coding with Claude, I have to get a response, put it in the code, I get an error, put it back. Hey Jatin, welcome. So I was just talking about how DeepSeek Reasoner has made my life easy as a builder, as a developer. and earlier there would be multiple iteration where I'll have to get an output, put it back into the prompt to get an input, get the correction. But with all this monologue, it gives me a correct response much faster with lot more simpler and malformed prompts. So like I'm already addicted. When it doesn't work, I feel like I'm a bit incapable. Another good thing is that it's open weights. I won't call it open source because that the actual definition doesn't match. Like for a model to be open source, all the training data has to be revealed, the process of training has to be revealed. So all of that has not been revealed. So open weight is a better better term. But yeah, so this seems to be working fine. I have some basic UI UX like ready, and I have the code present in GitHub. Let me see. How do I increase the font? I think the backend code is not pushed in yet. So the code is also present, like it's on GitHub. So if any of you can, it would be great if you can just check out and like try to build it and see if you can participate in the development process as well. So get okay, I think I may need to do some I'll quickly do some permissions. If any of you want to get access or you are able to work on this, please you can share your email in the chat and I can keep it as cheap as possible. So we'll see if Haiku works well. If it doesn't work well, then we'll go a step ahead. We'll use Sonnet, which is more expensive, or GPT-4o instead of GPT-4o Mini. And if that doesn't work very well, we can also go to DeepSeek R1 reasoning. We can see how which APIs respond in a way that we want. So that's the plan. So we have the front end now. What we want is for the back end to be able to fetch that information. So let me
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, this is a question-answer based, interface, correct? So,
yeah.
It's not proactive. So, if somebody wants to, is open and has just heard of the bill and wants to know more about it, he or she needs to actually ask a question before the answer is generated. Is there a summary or key points that can be generated maybe through the same process, but pre-populated?
Yeah. That's a good point. I think at least once someone lands on the page, once someone lands on the page, they should be able to see the summary, get an understanding of get the link of the DPDPA rules, get a summary of what it is, and then if the summary
maybe with sections and stuff, so how will it affect you? What are how will it affect small businesses, large businesses, tech businesses, artists, content producers, that kind of thing. So there's a ready reckoner. They don't have to think of the question and then ask, because many people will not be able to get the context of the bill, and they don't want to read as many pages as you guys have.
Yeah.
So it's more of a ready rec. Secondly, this will be multilingual, right? Or is it only?
Yeah, like because we can use as long as the AI can detect that language and understand that language, we can allow as many languages as possible. So whatever language you converse in, we can use AI to translate it to English, or use it directly to do the query fetch and then return the response in the same language. So it will be multilingual. You can ask ask your question in whatever language possible. So I think I like the idea of having an intro page. So what I'll do is maybe start with that. I'll paste the community discussions and maybe the document itself, and then let's ask, we don't need to be very thorough or have the best implementation at the get-go. So any even a basic implementation is good enough to get started with as a POC. Why I'm not able to select everything? Yeah, let me just Control C and then put it in here. And we don't want to we don't rely on AI, so that's why that's why instead of AI doing the legal reasoning and all of that itself, we want it to just link us to answers in the chat, but not do a proper analysis and stuff. And we can review, we can generate intro and then we can review stuff, but we don't want AI to generate something on the fly. So right now I'm recording, so this is a recording button, so whatever I talk, it will record and it will translate it get the text out. So sometimes instead of typing the instruction, I just record the instruction. So what we want is to generate a summary of this, of DPDPA, and how it affects me as a regular person, how it affects me as a business owner. So just at a glance give an information to different users from different as business owners and policymakers and lawyers. Get at a glance give them an intro about the DPDPA draft rules. So this so let's use reasoner. And meanwhile here on the code, I'll for the front end, I want on the landing page an intro for the DPDPA rules, so that visitors have an idea what is it about before they ask questions. Let's see if this is working. Okay. So I think again started having problems. So let me do one thing. So sometimes it doesn't, because of the server load and stuff, it doesn't work. So in those times I just maybe I'll try to use their UI. Sometimes their UX works. Let's see. If this also doesn't work, we'll just use Claude or something for now. It also depends sometimes on the length of the query. Like this is not too long. This is just 706 words, so it should generate. Okay, so to get going, we'll use something else. We'll use Sonnet maybe. Okay, it's a very high level document, but for now we can just use this. Okay, here things are working here. And as you can see, the reasoning is much better than what Claude generated. So if for Claude I'll have to give some more inputs that okay, give me more details and all of that, but this just works. So I'll put that into the code here. Yes, Uncle?
Dude, I just wanted to see what it is like if you could stop for maybe a couple of seconds and
Do you want to see the output?
just a second. Consent management. Okay. This seems like it's a summary, right?
Yeah, it's like whatever it's a
Whatever
summary.
was discussed. Whatever was discussed.
Whatever was discussed, whatever like is there in the documentation, so it's using all of that to generate a summary. So rights, children's data.
Data breaches. Okay. So you're gonna take this and one second, business owner also. Okay. So what are you gonna do with this exactly?
So
what's the next step?
So what the next step would be to put this on the cloud or like maybe on the front end itself, and then what we will see here is like instead of like an empty page, we will see the intro to the intro to the document basically.
So like you said right now, the compliance management, and that said, like businesses should formulate a compliance management and compare DPDP with GDPR.
Right.
So, will the LLM be doing that?
LLM. Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
I mean, at the end of the response, there is a line at the very end of it, which says that conduct GDPR DPDP compliance mapping. What I'm trying to say is that terms like that reoccurring here.
Yeah.
Which,
So I think
which the LLM will pick up, and I'm not sure if it can really be a lawyer actually.
Yeah, it would not be. It should not try to be a lawyer either. So, like for example, if we are saying conduct GDPR DPDP compliance mapping, then we should have a discussion document or something that does the mapping, and what the LLM should do is just point or like extract the.
But if you feed this to like if you feed like what is given above this, there are a few terms that have been summarized.
Yeah.
Right. Like just hold up. You see like parental consent is mandatory for data processing. Company must notify of breaches and mitigation steps. So if the LLM is left without any guardrails or parameters for fine tuning, it might just venture into notifying you and telling you of what the mitigation steps should be, which is something that I guess I'm just saying you could probably put some sort of a disclaimer for that. Just an idea.
No, yeah,
you put these documents and the discussion points in the context window, correct?
yeah,
For this for the
yeah,
event.
yeah,
Now, can we add a metadata saying that saying what kind of resources are there in the context window? For example, the core, the basic information that the bill contains should only be taken from the PDF that contains the bill.
yeah,
Everything else is commentary or discussion or internal, questions, ideas, or stuff like that.
right,
So if we can mark out saying that if there is a Q&A, don't go to the discussion document and pick it up from there, but just see that you're taking it up only from the base document, and these all other are concerns, ideas, discussion points, etc.
yeah, makes sense.
So if there's a way to tag the metadata or the documents in the context window to the type of the document that there is.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it the main resource or accompanying or complementary? So,
yeah, definitely. So what I think we can do is like, instead of just coming out with a response, it should cite where it's getting the response from. So for example, if it's saying that you must give explicit information, then we should be able to maybe click or maybe like see which part of the document is being used to generate this summary, and it like yeah,
well, yeah, the link should be there, and it should cite that the document where it is generating. But there should be a way to differentiate between what does the bill contain and what should the bill contain, right? Or those are two different questions.
yeah,
So including in the, for example, the discussion points and the news articles, etc., will contain both what the bill does contain and what it should contain.
right,
While only a bill says what it contains.
yeah, yeah. So I think like from what I understand, your point is like, if is your point that as a user I should be able to query or query what the bill contains, and also be able to understand, like if I'm querying something that the bill does not contain, then like if it has been discussed in the discussions, then be able to identify that okay, this is
So
yeah,
So I think there could be two context windows. I'm just thinking around right now. Maybe I'm not so conversant with LLMs, so you might want to change it. But one context window is only the PDF of the bill, maybe
Right.
Hindi and English if
Right.
if that is adds value.
yeah,
The second is the discussion around the bill
yeah,
and the reportage around the bill, right?
yeah.
So, for example, if a question is on the bill itself, then it only goes to the first context window.
Right,
If a question is, what do people think about the bill? What
Right.
should what are the changes that are being suggested about the bill? Should this bill be there or not? Or how does it compare to other bills, such similar bills in other locations?
yeah,
Or so that should go to the second context window, and that categorization of the question should probably precede before the question is actually answered.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I understand, and I think I can see the implementation as well, how it can be. So my like where we would need to differentiate, or like what we would need to consider is like if we are asking a question and the bill has some answer to it, but like let's say in a conversation in the one of the discussions, a part was discussed in further details, and there was like what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the things missing. So like how it should look is like if we are looking at the like for example, I ask a question what's in it for businesses. Just like a random question. Then the response would be like, why is this so big? So the response would be like maybe there's as per the draft, this like whatever the draft contains about that, and then like it doesn't have to be just one answer. It can also be like if the same thing has been discussed in discussions and stuff, we can also like append to the response saying that also
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
also discussed in like whatever the discussion is coming out from, like maybe HasGeek community discussion. And also like we are also planning to have the news sources implemented, so like also discussed in news article. And like once we have these sources, we can generate this response in a, like, we'll see how to format it, but like a multifaceted output that doesn't just use the original text but also uses discussions and news articles to give a more 360-degree view of a response for a question.
Right.
So I'll just add this to the intro page for the user to understand.
Munk, I gotta leave. Can I speak with you? I can speak with you about this later. I'm very sorry.
Oh, no worries. I'm very glad you were able to join.
Actually, I have another meeting in the hour. Then bye.
No worries. Like hopefully we'll have a like UX as soon as possible, so you can also.
Hopefully we get to put this on a research paper, man. That's what it started out with.
Yeah.
Great experiments, dude. So,
yeah.
We'll speak on this. Cool.
All right. Take care, Sankalp. I'll talk to you soon. Understand DPA or the policy at a glance. So let's try to use again DeepSeek for it. So eventually we would want how I'm developing the architecture is that it can plug into any policy and discussions around it. So right now I'll just maybe put it in the front end, but later on if we use DPDPA, then all the resources that are linked to it gets triggered, and like it responds based on that. So like I'm trying to make it as modular as possible, so that like it not just for this but for others as well, we are able to use it.
So another idea is that, and maybe when I'm talking about it, I see many negative points about it. But one of the things that we can do is add a scraper module, which scrapes news about this bill or any other bill that we decide to analyze,
right.
Essentially add those sources to the context. And the disadvantage of this is that a lot of the sources on the internet are just are not very informed sources or not very unbiased sources, so that might kind of tilt the perception or the output or quality of the output of the system. So
like,
we'll need to think about it. Anyway, then we can park that, I think.
Like I had thought about it, but as you said, like it's difficult to trust the, like what I was thinking of was like using something. There's a website called Perplexity. I'm not sure if everyone has heard of it, but basically it does a RAG based query where it searches the internet and then gives a response in a human readable form. So like we can either use this or just do a normal Google search for like for example, what's in DPDPA for business owner rules.
This is which I'm sorry, I'm on the phone and I can't see the URL clearly. Which is the site?
This is perplexity.ai. I'll just put it in the chat as well.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
I think it can do search, but DeepSeek search, like I was not very impressed by it. So like it gives a response and then it shares these links, like decoding. So like it gets access to the links, and what we can do is like use the links here to get the response. So we
but I agree with you that the trust is a major factor. So let's not spend too much effort on it.
So like we have a couple of news sources, and like what we can do is like do it in an editorial way, where like if some article is there, someone reads it and like they share it with some notes or something. So rather than automated process, it can be an editorial process. Cool.
Right.
So it did generate some output, but like what I want, I guess, like it reformatted the things which I don't want it to do. So what I'll do is like I'll ask it, so this is saved as or convert this to HTML and make this available on the intro page. Let's copy this into the app. Let's see if okay, like just basic implementation for now, but I think I think this works fine. So now let's work on the backend and start working on the query basically. Copy the CSS as well. Messed things up a bit, so I'll just revert it for now. So let's program the backend. For the backend, what do we want? We want once the query is received, I want you to like what eventually what we want is for the documents to be stored in some kind of document store, but for the sake of just launching, we can just store the documents in maybe a folder in the backend for now, and use that. Let me just open up a new one. Backend upload. That will store the documents and discussions. Resources, document, notes, discussions. So there's also the concept of prompt engineering. Basically, in prompt engineering, we tell it how to give the responses. For example, we have the document, and then we ask it something that is not in the context of the document. So like by default, AI will try to make up something and like try to give a response. But if we are doing prompt engineering, which is like giving it some examples that okay, if I ask you some questions that doesn't have an answer in the document, then say that don't return anything, or say that this is the response. Or if there is a response in the document, don't make something up, give the exact text out. So instead of just giving instructions to do that, it works much better when we give it some examples. So that's why for every document we also want to have a prompt engineered for the document that gives an example of how the question and answer should be. So I'll here it did not consider that, so I'll just so what are documents we have? The DPDPA, draft, policy. We have the HasGeek discussion. We have news article 1, news article. For each document, I also want to store the prompt to fetch info from the document. Prompt engineered. Okay, this looks much better. So it's SRC resources documents. So let's just put that backend. paste the policy here. Like we don't need to have everything right now. I'll just we have this, and then new file. We have the HasGeek discussion. So this is in documents. So in the prompts we have okay. So in the prompts we have new file. .json, and then we have so now what we can do is use DeepSeek to generate the prompts. So let me quickly copy that. I want you to generate a few prompts, Q&A prompts for this document. I want to ensure that there is no hallucination, and the only the relevant section text is being returned, and if there is no reply or no match, then NA is returned. Let's see. Length limit. Oh, deep thinking. Okay. Well, we are almost on time, so this will end soon, but like for me at least, it has been very helpful to get inputs from all of you. So what I'll continue working on this, and I want to be able to have something basic out there working. I'll hope to finish it by today. Let me just see if I can finish this part. And I'll share it in the like once we have something ready, I'll share it in the chat. Where did the prompt go?
Awesome.
Thanks all for joining and for helping me out with this. Just your presence is quite helpful actually. Let's see.
Thank you so much.
Thanks Kushi for joining. Okay, I think the models are quite okay, now it's working. This is nice. Like it's giving the section and the answer, so we can just use the section to get the information. And these are not applicable example. Like we can actually convert this to a JSON and then put it in that JSON file.
It's about to end. Bye.
Bye bye.